Hey there, guys and gals. Ron Sullivan, your online hitting consultant. Look, it's been a while, right? Baseball season is upon us and softball season, thank God, right? And we can get on with our business of making players the best hitters in the universe, right? So this is going to be a really quick video, and it doesn't need a drill or anything. Just some people that maybe need a better explanation why their player's head pulls out and they pull off the ball and so forth, right? And so if you watch on the left, this is a 10-year-old hitter, and on the right is a player that's playing beyond high school, right? So he's got the right tools to get the job done. And so if you notice the difference, obviously I put a box there for you to see it, but the major difference in the two swings, at least inside the box, is the head movement, right? And so that's something that we're all challenged with young players. So I'm going to just give you how I deal with this problem. Now, first and foremost, many of you are going to take this idea, I hope, and start trying to apply it to your players. But some of you will struggle, or your players will struggle with this because mechanically they have something that won't allow this resistance-free mechanism that I'm going to talk to you about here in just a second. So don't get frustrated. It just means you've got some work to do, like the majority of us have with young players, is that their body is out of position because they're not using the right sequence and muscle groups to get the swing unloaded. And so the head movement is a product of just bad mechanics. All right. And part of that is the reason with Carter on the left over here. But one of the things that I've been challenging young players with for a while now is when you watch players like Devlin on the right, I think that if you would describe his head position and so forth, most of us would say that he's keeping his eye on the ball, right? Well, I stopped looking at that like that a long time ago because I realized something else is at play here. Now, I know, obviously, he's trying to keep his eye on the ball. But you notice his head's not pulling down. He's not doing anything extra, right? Basically, his head position is there, and it's there as he goes to contact. What I've challenged young players to do, and I encourage you to do this as well, is let them understand the disconnect between the head and the neck from the rest of the body, right? So, we're always trying to give players an idea of the lower half, upper half separation, right? If I were you, I would start trying to challenge your players to understand, right, that their head and their neck do not need to be a part of this full body motion, right? Or whatever you want to call it. Some of you like to call it rotation. Whatever you want to call it, your head and neck can basically sit in the center of that axis and not do anything. The more your players understand this idea, the more that they'll start creating habits that will create less resistance for the head and neck. So in other words, I went through the same process. Early on, I would constantly challenge players, keep your head down, keep your eyes on the ball, keep your head still. And what I noticed was this didn't really do a whole lot to improve things. In fact, in a lot of cases, it created resistance, right? Because the player was really straining to try to keep their head still, right? And this kind of resistance, even up in the neck and shoulder, or the neck and head area, with any resistance in the neck, it creates resistance in the shoulders, right? And so what you have a whole other set of problems there. So we definitely don't want resistance. The more you challenge players to just let their head be, along for the ride, get their eyes on the ball, and then explain to them how their body can move, right, without their head and their neck. Maybe show them some examples of you in the cage, put something on the screen in front of you and fix your eyes on it, and then take full swings keeping your eyes on it. And don't challenge them by saying, look how my head stayed still. Let them know that your head just had no part of the rotation of your body. It had no part whatsoever. It was able to sit in position while the rest of your body worked. And I think this is a great way of introducing players to a new idea of how to keep their eyes on the ball, right? And so when you start tracking a pitch ball coming in and you're able to disconnect your head and neck from the rest of the body, then you can track a ball for a long time, right? And that's the whole key, all right? So challenge you to share that with your players and see what kind of results you get. I know it all seems very obvious, but I know a lot of you out there are going, yeah, that makes sense. And that's what it's all about. All right, guys, Ron Sullivan, your online hitting consultant. Thanks.